Hey all, my name is Taylor, and here I have the SCUF Reflex first-person shooter controller for the PS5. This is pretty far from your typical PS5 controller, and it's a controller designed for some serious gaming with a seriously high price tag and one serious risk that you're gonna want to be aware of, and I'll get to that at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. Let's get right into it. Right off the bat, you'll notice that this controller looks very different from your typical PS5 controller or even your custom PS5 controller made by Sony. That's because this is a completely modified controller made by the folks at SCUF. SCUF has been making custom controllers for a while now, and this is their latest addition to the controller lineup, the Reflex first-person shooter. As a disclaimer, I'm not sponsored by SCUF or any affiliates. I'm not getting paid to make this video. This is just my opinion, so keep that in mind. Here's how it works. On their website, you have a couple options that basically start your build at a predetermined starting price. Very similar to how you can choose predetermined MacBook options on Apple's website. You have the Reflex at the starting tier, which retails for $200, the Reflex Pro at the middle tier starting at $230, and the Reflex Pro FPS at the top tier for a whopping starting price of $260, which is the one that I have here. How it works is you start by customizing the look of your controller, choosing your colors for the faceplate, the touchpad, the faceplate trim, the joysticks, the action buttons, triggers. Basically every piece of the controller you can tailor to colors that suit you. From there, you can start modifying the functionality of the controller by switching out the adaptive triggers for instant triggers, which gives the triggers a mouse click feel with an instant actuation. You can remove the vibration motors, and you can choose concave or domed thumbsticks with 2 different heights. You can also get the player's pack, which includes a case with a choice in color, a 10-foot braided USB-C charging cable that matches the color of the case, and some extra thumbsticks. All configurations come with some pretty unique elements that further set this apart from a typical PS5 controller. The first is the backside grip triggers. There's 4 in total, 2 shorter triggers located more inward on the backside, and 2 longer triggers which sit more on the outside. They have very short actuation points and they are removable. So if you don't want the inner triggers, you can pull those out and only have the outer triggers. If you want only triggers on the left side, you can pull out the right side triggers and have only triggers on the left side. You get a lot of choice with placement of these backside triggers. In addition to being able to physically place these triggers where you want, you can also remap them via software to whatever buttons you want. By default, the leftmost trigger is mapped to X. Going over one trigger, that's mapped to square. Over more still, this one is mapped to triangle, and the rightmost trigger is mapped to circle. In my case, I found that swapping the leftmost and the rightmost trigger felt more natural, so the leftmost trigger is circle and the rightmost trigger is X on my specific controller configuration. To do this, all you have to do is hold the center button until it starts flashing, and then press the trigger and the button you want to map to simultaneously. You'll know it worked because it will flash to an amber color to confirm your selection. You can map these to almost everything, except for the L2 and R2 triggers. Those you cannot map to. Additionally, you can have up to 3 different profiles of mappings for these backside triggers, and you can cycle through them by single pressing that center button. As you cycle, the colors will change from blue to red to green to indicate which profile you're currently using. The controller out of the box comes with 3 predefined profiles, which are first-person shooter, sport, and racing. So how does this controller perform? Well, it's pretty nice actually. Those instant L2 and R2 triggers are very nice. The actuation is super low, giving you instant feedback when you're playing a first-person shooter title. The click feels like a high-quality mouse click, and it's very tactile. so you know exactly when you hit the button. I've noticed that I'm able to react way faster to enemies on the screen because of these very quick triggers. Also, the L1 and R1 triggers are instant and have the same clicky feedback if you were wondering about those as well. My version does have the vibration motors, which I prefer for that extra bit of feedback. If you want to remove these, you can. I decided to leave these in my build. So for those backplate triggers, they are very nice to use in intense firefights where I need to maneuver my character and perform a reload or a weapon switch all at the same time. I don't even use the top action buttons anymore when I'm playing first-person shooter games because it takes so long to move my fingers off the thumbsticks and onto the action buttons when I can just tap the underside of the controller and perform the action I need to. This allows me to keep my thumbs on the joysticks at all times so that I have freedom of movement whenever I'm doing actions. Competitive players are really going to appreciate this feature because keeping thumbs focused on movement at all times is going to give a large advantage over the competition. It's also going to help to level the playing field against PC players who have a lot more movement flexibility using a mouse. Oh, and if you thought with all these customizations the battery life would suffer on this controller, you would be mistaken. There is no noticeable difference in battery life between the SCUF controller and the regular PS5 controller, which is very nice to see, and I'm happy to report on that. Now let's talk price. Is the price you're paying worth these features? So as configured with instant triggers, vibration motors, the player's pack, and SCUF's new custom color called Slate, my particular controller came out to $350, which is nearing the cost of the PS5 console itself. This is a serious premium to pay for a controller that is essentially nothing more than an input device for your game console. If you are a serious competitive first-person shooter athlete or you simply demand the best, then this is the controller for you, and the price probably isn't going to impact your decision much. If you are a casual player who's looking for something unique to add to your PS5 gaming collection, or want a talking piece with friends when they come over, then consider an entry-tier SCUF controller with a custom color that doesn't have instant triggers and skip the player's pack. This is going to give you that custom controller that you want, it's going to be unique, and it's going to keep the cost down somewhat. Finally, to get to that one big concern that I mentioned at the start of the video, yeah, that's going to be about warranty length. SCUF has a standard warranty period of just 6 months. 6 months, no matter if you buy the lowest tier configuration or go all out with the highest tier configuration, 6 months is all you get. And if something happens to the controller in those 6 months, oh well? Frankly, this is ridiculous, and SCUF needs to rethink this policy. If they want to be considered the ultimate brand in the competitive controller market, they need to have a competitive warranty policy. For $350, this thing should have a lifetime warranty. Instead, we get 6 months. So, what do you think? Would you shell out money for this controller? Let me know in the comments below. Share this video with your friends, like the video if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more. My name is Taylor, and I'll see you in the next one.
Hi, hello, is this thing on? Hi, it's recording. If you made it this far in the video, congratulations, I have a special surprise for you. A sneak peek into the next video. Alright, if you saw it, reply in the comments with Kiki. That's the name of my cat, so I'll know that you saw the sneak peek. See you guys.